Everyone, I was supposed to be live with Sue. My camera's not working. I'm getting a little frustrated, so I'm actually going to change because the lighting's better. So I didn't want to wait. I wanted to get on, and she may be joining us, and if not, it'll just be me. So this is better lighting. So let me just check on the page, and as you guys are joining me, so we try to do the best we can to let you guys know what's going on. Let me just text Sue. So it's just going to be me on the live. So let me just make sure you guys are joining and seeing it. And, we're still trying to get it together where you get to know the broadcast, what they are. You go into the bot. I'm going to be doing the content calendar later today so that you'll know. And so there's a lot we're still trying to organize. We're very organized, but there's a lot that we're adding that we haven't had before. So you just have to be a little patient with us. Now, let me just, so there it is. Okay, I just wanted to make sure it was pinned, and I have 7 people here. And hi, Linda. So we'll start in a minute, and I don't like this camera, but I got to get over it. We'll start in a minute, and I'm going to use Sue's cards as I do readings and stuff like that. I'm turning off Skype because Trisha and Laura are doing it, but I'm just turning that off so I don't get distracted. So as you could tell, I'm a little like all over the place. Hi, Renee. Hi, Susan. Hi, Jean. Hi, Rashida. So great. So what we're going to do is let's do a little grounding meditation first, and then we're going to go into readings, probably read for about a half hour or so, and that's it. And then we will be communicating with you on how we're going to make sure that you know about the lives, really, really get familiar with the membership calendar in membership, but I don't think the lives are on there yet. Laura's had a lot to catch up on. Remember, if you ever have technical difficulties or any kind of problems at all, go and email Laura at info@marilynaLauria.com. All right. So before we start with readings, let's just do a little grounding because it's been an interesting, wonky time. And I think that that's for everybody. One of the things I want to also say as I fix my hair and I'm getting settled and all of that. Hi, Diane. Hi, Liat. Hi, Shelly. Hi. You told me how to say your name, Nampumalio. You gave me another way of saying it, so can you give it to me again? I'm really bad with names, by the way. It's not something I work on because I work with energy. Hi, Natalia. So I'd love to know how you say your name again, honey. So let's do a grounding meditation, and then let's talk about, let me talk about something really important. So in order to get the most out of membership, it's really, really important that you go in and you definitely do the lessons and listen to the recordings when you can. For me, if you don't have time to sit down, listen to the lessons, listen to them while you're cooking, listen to them while you're doing laundry. I listened to a Silver Soul Sunday this morning while running, I listen to things when I'm walking the dogs. I listen to things when I'm cooking. I don't really cook these days because I don't have the time. So that's what I do. And whatever has to get in, gets in at that moment. So don't worry about not being able to do the meditation or certain things. It looks like I'm invisible. I have a white shirt on and I'm like being washed out because my camera is not working. So that's what I have to say. So just make sure you're going in there and really engaging in the lessons. And for all the new people, we really, really, really want you focusing on the higher self lesson first. That's the first lesson to start with. It's the first guide. It's really going to help you to get connected and move forward from there. Okay, let's do a quick grounding thing, and then I'm going to do some readings. So I'm grounding by myself without telling you what to do. Oh my goodness. Close your eyes. If you can put your feet on the floor, that would be great. If you can't, it's okay. If you like sitting cross-legged, it really doesn't matter. You just really want to bring your attention to the soles of your feet. And you want to bring your breath all the way down your body, all the way down the soles of your feet, all the way down to the center of the earth. And just breathe with Mother Earth right now. Just notice your breath. Just slow down your breath and just inhale and exhale all the way down to Mother Earth. And then as you inhale from Mother Earth and all the way up into your body. And just take a couple of cycles of breath doing that, noticing how you're feeling, calming yourself down, maybe your thoughts, letting them fly out of your head. Esther Hicks, and I'm going to talk as I do this, was saying something interesting I was listening to in one of her recordings. And Abraham was explaining how in the beginning when she started meditating with them, she didn't notice that they were there because she was taught to sit in meditation and when a thought came in, to breathe it away. And they were talking to her from the very beginning, but it took her 9 months to realize it because she thought they were her own thoughts. And I know that I relate to Abraham so much because my guides are the same way. I never did silent meditation. They really were talking to me from the very beginning, and I paid attention. So I found that really interesting that they said that to Esther, and she didn't know it was them because it can sound like your own thoughts. So just notice what you're hearing now. Maybe you're hearing that you have to pay the bills or you have to go do something, but maybe there's some vibration behind that is leading you to go do those things. And those are your guides. That's your higher self. So just take a few moments noticing what thoughts are coming in. And now as you breathe into your heart chakra. And I do feel, like Raquel mentioned on the call, and I'd mentioned it in a post, that this is definitely the chakra to connect to source. I do feel the crown chakra also, and I feel behind the head where your head meets your neck. But I feel like the heart chakra is about love, and love is what source is all about, and your guides are all about. Even if they've walked a human existence, they're existing in another plane, which is all about love. And their understanding of love and your interpretation of love are probably quite different because their understanding of love is unconditional and it has no conditions on it. It's an experience of bliss, joy. You really can't find words to describe it because their consciousness is so much different than ours. And now I just want you to ask your guides to come forward, whether you know them or not, and even if it's just your higher self. And just be with a question that you may have today. I'm not going to be able to get to everybody's questions, but know that if your question doesn't get answered, that your answer is probably in somebody else's answer. And your guides may be guiding you to figure it out on your own by listening to what I say or whatever my guides say through me. And it's always best, I feel, in these types of situations to have a specific question. So if you're finding yourself in a general place, ask yourself why. What is it that you're confused about, unclear about, Okay, and just take a few moments now as I do an opening quiet prayer to myself. Okay, and you can just say, you can say your name to yourself a couple times and open your eyes. So I would suggest, I'm going to do a group reading first because that's the first card that came to me. And I'm going to use Sue's card, even though she's not here. I think that's totally okay. And use my guides as I go through it. So if you have a question, type it into the comments and I will get to them. But I'm going to do a group reading first, okay? Just because this card came up and you're having a hard time. My camera's not working. I'm sorry. I have an HD camera and this camera is really good, but for some reason it's not connecting. I don't know why, because Spirit wants to do that today. So it's hard to see this beautiful, beautiful moon card. But, and I don't know what all her cards mean. I know what the moon card means. Obviously it's part of the major arcana. But I love the moon card for many, many reasons. The moon card is exactly where a journey that I've been in right now. And it's about coming out of unconsciousness and heading into consciousness and consciously choosing your path. And it's about balance in your life as well. And in the traditional moon card of the Rider-Waite deck, there's a wolf and a hound baying as you're coming out of the path, and there's a crayfish coming out of the ocean into the path, and there's these pillars, right? And it's all about balance. It's all about unconsciousness coming into consciousness. It's all about choosing what it is that's really what you want. And really what I feel membership for your soul is about is coming back to your truth. It was fascinating, or not so fascinating today, that Spirit took me to the Ali McGraw Super Soul Sunday. I didn't even know they had a podcast. I put it on today as I was running. And Oprah and Ali McGraw talked about like the meaning of life. And it's all that I'm teaching. Like my branding is changing because it's all about getting you to your truth, your authenticity, your organic being. And it's all the same for me too. It's living from that place. And I remember asking people if they're afraid of their truth a while ago when I was teaching about the moon. Actually, I did a moon class and it was all about the truth. And so many people were afraid of their truth. And I can tell you from standing in my truth that it's magnificent. Your truth is better than anything you've imagined. What is scary are the untruths that you're waiting and working yourself through. So I feel like this card for the group, for the time that we're entering into in maybe the first couple of weeks in November, is all about being honest with yourself. Even if the people around you aren't able to reflect your highest good right now because maybe your husband's scared of what's going on, or your daughter doesn't believe in what you're doing, or whatever the experience, your parents think it's crazy. That's their limitation. That's their fear. And you just want to recognize that. You don't want to have to fight them on it. You don't fight when you know yourself. What happens is when you stand in your own truth is that you recognize that you don't have to fight for anything anymore. You recognize that standing in your truth is enough. And the people that can't embrace it will either fall away or be quiet. So if it's a family member, like in my family members, we just don't talk about it because they can't accept it from me. And that's okay. You know, we choose to talk about other things. So what her card says is celebrating creativity and imagination, mystery, intuition, life force, inner wisdom, cycles, paying attention to your dreams. So I like that. So that is a group reading. So now I'm going to shuffle the cards to clear the deck, and I'm going to pick a question. I'm picking this card. Clearing the deck. And I'm going to Katie. So you didn't ask a question, but I'm still going to do a reading for you, Katie. You probably did ask. This is very interesting. For this video to start, I see a cloud looking like angels and half of the moon. I love that. I want to see if you have any questions, Katie. If not, I'm just going to read what came up. And thank you for helping Olivia with the problem. Okay. So it doesn't matter to me. Katie, it's the Wind Shaman card. And I don't remember. I think our shaman is the king. And I know wind is swords. So that I know for sure. But it doesn't matter to me. I'm just going to let the cards speak to me and let my guides speak to me. What's fascinating in your thing, you talked about an angel. And this card, I know it's hard to see it because of my camera. Let me take your question down. So this little yellow light right there is an angel to me. And I feel like it's about listening to your inner voice, your inner song. It's harking, which hark the herald angels sing. And I feel like there is safety emerging out of you because of the red in the card, and your truth is emerging out of you. And I feel like Spirit is asking you to know that you're always safe. So there are moments when we go into indecisiveness or expansion, or we start taking the path in a different way. There can be moments of confusion that happen, or moments of, is this right? Am I making the right choices? Or there could be moments of, this is what my heart says, but how is this going to show up? How is this going to end up? And I feel like Spirit is saying in this card for you to keep walking the path, that you're safe, that you're okay, and that the more you get into your heart center and your truth and your throat, the more you're going to be where you're meant to be. Now, I'm getting pain in the back over here, which is the middle, but to the right. And normally what that means to me is your own angel wings are growing out and you're taking flight. So you're getting to walk in this world, in this physical existence, as the angel that you are. Now, it's also pushing you forward. So if there's any place that you're hesitating in your life right now, Spirit is asking that you stop doing that. Spirit is asking if you need extra support, get the support on this page so that you're not hesitating any longer. Because I feel that indecisiveness is not a place that they want you in. Decisiveness is where they want you. So sometimes when we need to make decisions, like I'm sitting in a lot of decisions right now at my business, right? I don't know the answers to them, but I can make the decision to listen to a podcast and run. I can make the decision I walked along the LA River with my dogs today. I sat outside. I got up at 5 a.m. because I get up early, and I sat outside for over an hour and I journaled, and then I meditated for like a half an hour. Those are the decisions I can make very clearly and easily. And then they bring me further into my truth, because I'm sitting here in a lot of like, I don't know. I don't know what you want me to do next. I'm not sure. So that's what happens. So for you, Katie, I feel like you're really entering into a very bright path right now. But Spirit is just saying, listen to those inner urgings inside of you. Okay? So that's what I want to say to you. Let me know how that was for you. I'm going to clear the deck and pick a question. They're also saying work with an ascended master. And it could be Mary Magdalene. It could be Saint Germain. I'm not sure who it is. You're going to have to pick an ascended master to work with. Whoever I'm going to next, there's a business thing coming up. Okay, so I am going to go to see where they take me. Erin. Hi, Erin. I'm a new member of Love a General Reading. Happy to hear and meet you. Well, Erin, you did not hear the beginning of my thing where I said you're not allowed to ask general questions, but it's okay. The reason why I do that, really, I don't mind general questions. Well, that's not true. I go back and forth about it, as my members know. And the reason I do that is because, to me, I want to see you stand in the power of what you think you know and ask from there. General questions for me, sometimes can render themselves powerless in you, not in me, because I'll get information no matter what. So with you right away, Erin, it's Erin Livers. I get an 18 and an 8 with you. So 18s for me, 1 is new beginnings and 8 is business. And it's the affinity symbol, which is actually like I love that symbol. And it's about infinite intelligence. And it adds up to a 9, which is about soul journeys and cycles ending and new cycles beginning. So I feel like Spirit is bringing you into what does infinite intelligence mean to you? A lot of times it's like business, but it feels to me like there's an incubation period about what you want to do with your life or where you want to go. And it feels to me like you have to get into that wisdom center inside of you. I'm hearing that you need to sit in silence. Whether your head gets silent or not, you need to sit and bask in silence, whether it's in a bath or a shower. Or if you can listen to the Ali McGraw interview today, I thought it was so good. She talks a lot of what I believe and feel, where just touching a leaf connects me to source. So you're going through a lot of final endings, but you're going into new beginnings. The 8 is very big. So I would even have you meditate on the infinity symbol itself and find what that means to you. And the other thing that comes up with that, the infinity symbol is on the strength card in the Rider-Waite deck. I don't know what card I picked for Sue yet. And the strength card is an interesting card for me because she's either opening the lion's mouth or closing the lion's mouth, right? So it depends on the person's perspective. But the strength card has a very strong story for me about how I wanted shepherds and to be able to have them off leash, right? And I'm not going to go through my whole story, but I went through a lot of trauma with my dogs in the beginning, a lot. And now I go everywhere with them off. I don't walk the streets with them off leash, but I can go everywhere with them. I can go to anywhere, actually. And they're under commands with me, and they are really good dogs. And that was a real big moment for me to recognize that I could build this strength, after trainers telling me I had to get rid of them or use e-collars or things. So this is about your power of your voice. This is about you standing in the truth of who you are. This is about letting go of what is no longer serving you. So the card, perfect card for you, honey. I know you can't see it. I'm sorry, my camera's awful today. There it goes. It's the Empress card. Empress card is great. I'm very drawn to numbers with you, so I want you to pay attention to numbers that you see, because what's going to happen is, and then go to that Sacred Scribe site. That's the one I like for number interpretation. If you don't know what that is, just post about it. There's many people in membership that know about it. But the number 3 is about mind, body, soul connection. It's about the Trinity. It's about you coming home to yourself. So for me, the Empress, like I know the Rider-Waite deck very well. I don't know Sue's deck, but I love Sue's deck because it allows me to work with the cards in a way that's so intuitive and my guidance. And the light blue in this is all about your heart, your truth, all about speaking your truth to yourself more than anything else. When people hear speaking their truth, they think that they have to go out and speak their truth to others, and that's not true. What you have to do is speak your truth to yourself first and foremost, because it doesn't matter what others think or others believe. What matters is what you believe about yourself. And when you get away from what other people think about you, you get to that corner of that. Now, in the Empress, she's traditionally known to be pregnant. So she's giving birth to herself. She's giving birth to something new. Whenever I dream about pregnancy, I know I'm giving birth to a new me. And I feel like with you, I'm a little dizzy, so you need to ground. And there's that grounding meditation in the resource section. And I just want you to know that you're cultivating a garden. So if we're all, and I want everybody, I know I'm seeing a lot of questions coming up, but I'm not looking at them because I have to stay with her right now. But the people that I don't read, I'm not going to get to everybody's reading, right? I want you to listen to the answers because I give answers in a way that can help a soul grouping. I don't know why I'm tasting a carrot, but I have a feeling I know because you need to be grounded, and that's a root vegetable. It's not always the best root vegetable to ground. So what do you want to grow in your garden? Who do you want to grow in your garden? What do you want to do in your garden? So if we all do, I'm going to make a note because things are going to come to me for things to bring into membership as I do this. Sorry, guys. So think about what you want to have in your garden, your soul's garden. Who is allowed to get in there? And know that even if our life is chaos, when we go into our soul's garden, nothing can infiltrate that. We have the power to come back to ourselves and be centered. So that's what I'm going to say to you, sweetie, okay? So, and I think you put up a question after. She did. Feeling stuff after traumatic events and not sure how to move forward. So I think I gave you a lot there, but mainly with you, it's about getting silent with yourself, getting quiet with yourself. When you go through traumatic events, you get fragmented, right? Now, I'm not into this soul fragmentation out there. I'm not into a lot of stuff that's out there. And the reason being is because I like to take it from my guides. So not everybody has maybe what I have right now, and that's cool. So you have to take from different things. So soul fragmentation for me doesn't mean I've lost a part of my soul. It means that I'm confused inside and I need to spend time with me, getting to know what I need to heal, what I need to love, and what I need to give birth to, what I need to wake up, what I need to bring out, where I'm not paying attention to myself, where I'm not respecting my own boundaries, where I'm letting people walk on me, so that's what I feel like you need to do right now, sweetie. And then that'll bring you further along on the path. And I definitely would say to you, listen to some really good uplifting things that really inspire you because you're lacking inspiration. Okay, so I hope that helped. I don't know who I'm reading. No, I don't know if that card's for the next person. Let's see where they take me. Well, they take me to, it's very long, but I'm going to read it. Beth, I am planning and truly need to leave my current job as it's unhealthy, negative, not aligned with all who I am. I know I'm covering my face, guys, but I have to do this. I definitely feel my guides are with me in doing this, and I'm receiving their guidance and signs. My question is about taking a leap of faith in order to make the space of a new work to come in. It takes up a lot of time and space in my life. Instead of waiting for the right work to come to me, my vibration is also very negatively affected when I'm at work. I'm an empath, so I absorb the negative energy there, and that I feel physically ill, especially now that I'm raising my vibration. Thanks to the work, Marilyn Group, what I do. Thank you. Okay, so if you haven't, Beth, listened to what the Raquel thing, I want you to listen to that now because she said something great about this particular situation. But I'm going to offer some stuff up too now, but I loved what she said and it really resonated. I pulled a card for you, but I'm not looking at it yet because it resonated with a lot of people on the call. So, Beth, this is what I want to say to you. I want to use you as a teaching tool for anybody who's in this situation. I want to give you practical minded tips before I go into reading tips. So what's happening to you again is what happens to a lot of people is that you feel powerless. You feel trapped, you feel stuck, and you feel like while you're in the situation, you can't possibly make it better. And that's not true. So I am I'm all for planning. This is me talking, okay? It's not my guides yet. I'm telling you my stuff. I'm all for planning. So when I was in a particular situation like that, where I hated the job I was in, it was making me physically ill, and I really wanted to get out, I really worked on the outside of that job. And I know you said you're exhausted, but I'm going to tell you why. I really worked on the outside of that job to create another income coming in. So you have a couple of options. First option is you go into this job, you bring light into this job, you recognize, this is a bit of what Raquel said, you recognize that you're there for a reason, and you just do the best that you can while you're there. You know that you're not there forever. You know that this too will end, and you know that you're not stuck or trapped or powerless, that you can actually take your power back while in this particular situation. Because by doing that, that's going to help you to raise your own vibration and prepare you for where you're going. So going in there and doing things where when you get the empath lesson, which you'll get soon, you don't have it yet, when you get into like surrounding yourself with roses and you allow yourself to not let people affect you in that way, or if they affect you, you ask yourself why so that you can learn about it. This is going to help you for where you're going. Now, the other thing is that maybe there's a better bridge job out there for you. I call them bridge jobs, but I feel like you need to look for that bridge job before you go. The problem that people have with bridge jobs is that they think that they're going to go into another job that they don't want to do, and they're going to be stuck there forever. The only reason you'll be stuck there forever is if you don't have a plan. The way to have a plan is, whether you know what you want to do for money or you're not sure, it's that you come home every night and you spend from 7 to 8 doing your studies, or you get into a meetup group that's doing readings if that's what you want to do, or you study the membership lessons, or you take a certification program. You make the money from that bridge job, pay the bills, and then you, on your off time, you think that you'll be too tired, but when you're doing something inspiring, you're going to want to get there. You're going to feel good about it. You're not going to care if you get to bed at midnight or 1 a.m, because all of a sudden you're doing this incredible stuff that you love to do. So I've had many bridge jobs, and that's what I did. And then I would leave the bridge job and have something that was already created. So there was none of this like, oh, what am I going to do next? There was always this plan in place. Okay, so we're going to see what cards we got. Oh, 4 of wind, and I know what this card is. So this is the 4 of, so I guess wind is, it's 4 of swords. Okay, but for some reason I thought of 4 of Pentacles for you, and I can't recall the 4 of Pentacles card, so you may want to look that up. Pentacles are about spiritual truths, making money through higher spiritual truths. The 4 of Swords card is a meditation card. It's a card where you get to open up your third eye chakra, your throat chakra, and your heart chakra, and you lay in meditation and talk with your guides. So they're asking you to just whoosh, don't make a decision right now. Let's get quiet. Let's sit with it for a little bit. Let's figure out where we want to go. Go to the 360 Living book in the membership site, which I believe is under resources or bonus. Do the day in the life. Figure out where you want to be a year from now. Let's do that inner work, and let's know all along that you have power. You have power to change your circumstances. You are not stuck. Trust me. I've been there. You're not stuck. But you need a plan, because what I've seen people do is leave the situation without having a plan, and then everything falls apart. And then they wonder why it falls apart, when they did what their heart was telling them to do, but their heart is always giving them a next step. And I don't feel like you're going to do this, sweetie, so I want you to know this, Beth, but I'm using you as a teaching tool for so many people. I've seen people do this, and then they sit in meditation and they wait for the angel to knock at the door and offer them their key job. I think you know membership, and I'm not about that. Now, I'm not telling you can't leave this job tomorrow. I'm not telling you can't leave it in 2 months, but I'm telling you in the state that you're in, you can't leave this job right now. So if you want, and we're going to get into next week, accountability people, where people live, starting to get into your own group. But if you want someone to help you be accountable for this, and this is a vulnerable place to be, but post on Facebook. Could somebody help me, even if it's through Facebook posts or messengers? Does somebody want to be an accountability partner with me as they're changing their life? Now, I can't imagine anybody in this group's not going to respond. If they don't respond, it's usually because it gets lost in the feed. But if somebody doesn't respond, don't take that as a rejection. Take that as, Spirit wants me to do it by myself. So I hope that helps for you. So I'm going to read what her card says. It says rest, recovery with contemplation, a retreat to fully recharge. You can't afford a retreat. Do a retreat yourself. Turn off the phone. Tell people you're not around. Take a bubble bath. Go to a place and have tea. Sit out in nature. Go to the park. Go to a spiritual place in your neighborhood. We can do personal retreats constantly. Cleansing your energy and listening for wisdom from the spirit. I do feel that you will be out of that job, but it doesn't feel like it's tomorrow, but I don't feel like it's very long off, to be honest with you. So I do want to tell you that. Okay. All right. Let's see who's next. And as you know, I'm not going to get to everybody because I'm going to just do a few more, and I'll probably do something general again. Jennifer Marie, hi. I see 555, 555 very often lately. I looked up the numbers, but wondering what changes are coming my way. Okay, so here's another, you're right. 5 is all about transition, transformation, change. I can't remember. I think it might be the Hierophant card. I don't remember what it is in the Rider-Waite deck. I don't know what I picked yet. But for me with you, Jennifer Marie, it's about, for me, what the biggest thing is coming through about the change. It's about your perspective, how you think about life, your mindset feels like it's shifting and changing. And also what I'm hearing from Spirit, is your dad passed by any chance, Jennifer? Because you have somebody, father's side, father coming in. So it could be grandfather, father's side, father. It feels to me like there was, I don't know why he's showing me a tie, but feels to me like there was some type of heart something with this experience with this person. It could have been lungs. It could have been chest at the end. I feel like clairaudience is going to open up a bit for you because he's trying to talk in my left ear, which is how spirits talk to me. I'm going to get a strange name. I don't feel like it's his name, but I'm going to give you the name just to see if it comes up, whether it's Harvey or Howard or it's a H name associated with this. What I feel like Spirit is telling you is to really listen to your angels, really listen to I know I keep repeating myself, but this is important. Listen to your own inner thoughts. We started out with the general reading of the moon. And what I also feel like is happening is that you're meant to change your mindset big time. They're showing me a crescent, a fingernail moon, which is really the new moon to me. I know I had Angela on. A new moon to her is when there's no moon. The new moon for me is the fingernail in the sky. And that's when, that's why I love bringing people on that have opposing views to me because it's fun. And I adore Angela and Norid. It feels to me like this is about, when the new moon shows up, it's about what you want to create in your life. So what I really want you to do is you can do an activity. Okay, I'm going to give you guys something. I'm sorry. It's like, whoa, a lot of energy going on. For anybody who's getting a lot of numbers, right? And I'm going to do the symbols video. I haven't had time. I'm trying to do the best I can. And I will do those next week before I go away. I have to go see my mom. In New York on Thursday. I'm going Wednesday night. But with that said, I would love for you to draw out the 555 or the 5 or the 55. And there's a thing called active imagination. And I would like you to communicate with the numbers in the page. So how do you do that? And you can write it as you do it, but I'd like you to draw them first. I'd love to see the picture of it if you want to show us. They're showing me a lot of daisies. I don't know what daisies mean in the general sense. But I know daisies for me are really about spirits wanting to communicate with you and about them wanting to talk with you. So I don't know if there's some mediumship ability coming up. And I get the hanged man around. Wow, I'm getting a lot of information around you. A hanged man around you, which is about changing perspective. It's about seeing things differently. Now, I still haven't gone to Sue's card. Let me finish the automatic writing active imagination exercise. So when you do this, you have to activate your imagination. And you have to say, if it's number 555, why are you coming to me? What do you want me to know? Are you there? And you have to let what comes through come through. And it's called imagination for a reason, active imagination, because you have to allow your imagination to run. So you could say, 555, are you there? Yes, I'm here. Well, what do you want me to know? Well, I don't know. What do you want me to know? Well, I don't know. And you could just do that. And eventually some wisdom will come forth, which I feel will be really good for you. So with you too, I got the Wind Shaman card, which I got with the very first person. I believe it was Katie. Again, I'm sorry about the camera, guys. Catherine told me how to hold this. She said, tell her to hold it. So you see the angel there? That to me is an angel. This is about throat chakra opening and first chakra opening. So it's about how you're sitting in your life, in your spiritual truths, in safety, and what you want to do with your gifts. Spirit just asked, what do you want to do with your gifts? So many times some of you struggle with, well, what am I gifted in? Well, my question, somebody asked me that in Mastermind. I said, what do you want to study? What interests you the most? That's what you're gifted in. So I want you to think about, when the person who answered me, she said, all of them. And I said, well, that's great. But then let's pick one. What's calling you first? What's the big one that's attracting you? All of them is great. I have no problem with people studying all the gifts, but what people want, I want people to know, I'm using so many teaching tools, they layer, the gifts layer, okay? So if you learn about empathic ability first, which is feeling, and then all of a sudden they start opening your clairvoyancy, and then they really work with your clairvoyancy, then all of a sudden you're doing readings where these two come together. So I'm seeing images and I'm feeling too. Then all of a sudden clairaudience comes in, you start studying clairaudience, then all of a sudden I'm hearing and seeing, or I'm hearing, seeing, and feeling. Like that's how it works. Okay. I went long on that one. Sorry, guys. All right, let's see. Sharon. I love Thich Nhat Hanh. I have read some of his books. I can't even remember which ones I've read, but I love Thich Nhat Hanh. So I'm sure you have a question somewhere here, and if you don't, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to do a reading for you. And if you do, Sharon, put it in again, but I'm not worried about it. Oh. Hi, Marilyn. How are you today? I like that question, Sharon. I'm a little tired, to be honest with you, but as you can see, I can move myself out of the way and let them come through. That's the beauty when people say sometimes like, you know, I'm not feeling good. And whenever I was like struggling with something, when I used to do readings, my guides knew that I had to move myself out of the way. And I actually ended up always, weirdly enough, like if I was struggling through something, I would get the answer in the reading, even though I was moved myself out of the way. And I'd feel better because I was serving. I was helping someone. I was watching the John Gray thing the other night, and he talked about how this woman was homeless with her 3 kids living in a hotel after a flood. It wasn't the Houston flood, it was another flood. And he said, there's always someone worse off than you. So go pay it forward. And it was so beautiful. I feel like from what I've seen of this man, he's a beautiful man. Whew, Sharon. Sharon, I briefly saw this. I don't know what card this is. I don't want to look at it yet. I'm very much in my heart with you. I'm very much in a clockwise fashion. Woo, I just got chills in my heart. I don't know where your mom is in your life. I don't know if she's deceased or alive. I'm not really, for me to connect into that level sometimes is a whole other level. But I'm feeling as though what I saw, the one little thing I saw in the card was like an orb. It's a sun. It's a light. And I feel as though I want you going into your heart. And I love taking my left hand and putting it over my heart and receiving, then taking my right hand and putting it over my left. Because for me, that's balance in my heart. It says I'm willing to receive and then I'm willing to give. Willing to receive, willing to give, or I'm willing to receive and I'm willing to do. Instead of doing, which I tend to get into sometimes, I'm receiving, then doing. So I feel like right now Spirit wants you to know that there's a little bit of change happening around your heart chakra and around like a little bit of grief, it feels like to me, and a little bit of letting go. And maybe there's a little bit of disappointment that's happening. So Spirit is asking, don't worry about it. You know, spend time just really loving yourself, being a mama bear to yourself and really nurturing yourself. And planting things would be really good for you, whether you plant a little seed or you pretend to plant something. They want you to plant the seeds of growth because they said that's what's going on in here. And they said there's nothing wrong with your heart chakra. It's very beautiful to me. I get a lot of different colors in here, like a lot of red for the root chakra, and also what does red mean to you? But they say brilliance, because red to me sometimes is like, you know, those F's on papers. I didn't get many F's, but you know what I'm saying. You got this wrong. But it feels to me like they're moving you into sunrise. They're showing me, again, I don't know what card this is, but they're showing me the 10 of Swords card, which is called the acupuncture card. And it's also about changing perspective, seeing the sun coming up. Ali McGraw said something interesting. She said, I love walking and watching the moon rise. And most people say the sun set, and she said the moon rise. And I thought, what a beautiful perspective, because I love the moon. So I know I'm giving you a lot of stuff that probably doesn't make sense because that happens sometimes in my readings and it makes sense down the line. Sometimes it never does make sense. A lot of times it does. But I feel like with you, the moonrise is what makes, for me, like, can anybody lean into that with me? Like, to me, it's just beautiful. And I feel like whatever makes you feel beautiful is what you're supposed to be leaning into. So the card is the Sea Shaman, and I don't know, I think that's cups. I believe the sea is cups, shaman I believe is king. So what I would like to say to you, because it says a kind, wise, mature, and empowered visionary, a creative, emotionally stable, responsible, and intelligent leader. Thank you. And sorry, they're talking to me about something else. So what I feel like, if you look at this card, you can see that swirling energy I saw. Yeesh, there it is. And I feel like this is about, we all have an animus and an animi. And the animus is the masculine version of us. And I learned a lot of it in dream work. And I feel like you're supposed to step into your masculine version of you right now, to feel the power to do what you want to do, to feel that you are a kind, wise, mature, empowered visionary, a creative, emotionally stable, responsible, and intelligent leader. I want you to lean into that because I feel like that's what Spirit is calling you for. And it's interesting that you went to Thich Nhat Hanh, which is a nice man who does this beautiful work. So I feel like I want you leaning a little bit into your masculine. And what does that mean? And where do you back off in the masculine energy? And that's what I would say. Okay. Sharon, I feel like it's a little bit like this. And the reason why sometimes Spirit does that to me is because you're supposed to, you're supposed to do some soul work before the next level. But they're showing me my reflection in here because everything's like, I'm like, that's not the right, it's the left. Where's the left, the right? I'm getting confused. So whatever you're liking about me is reflecting in you, and that's you. So if there's stuff that you like about me, just know that turn on those switch, that's inside of you. So that's what they said. All right. So I'm going to do a couple more and then I'm going to go, but I do have a fun game for all of you. They dropped in during Sharon's thing. Sharon, I don't know if you want to read, but I have a feeling that's in your future if you want it. They have a fun game that they want me to do with all of you, for all of you who didn't get a reading. So you're going to get a reading. I love you guys. All right, let's see where they take me. Debbie Lynn. So I want to see where you have a question. Beth, so funny. I said, guys, I want you to have specific questions. I keep going to people who don't have questions. Or they do, but they're writing also. I recently made the transition from corporate to kinesiology and conscious coaching. Happy to be of assistance during your transition. I love that. Had a broad plan to work from home, only a handful of clients and some savings to live off of. Debbie, love that. Thank you so much. Still going to do a reading for you. Love that you offered up your help to Beth. Thank you so much for doing that. That is what membership is all about. So, Debbie, love that you're doing this work. Love, love, love it. They're telling me that you're going to be teaching workshops, that you even stepping out and helping Beth is a way of helping others, that when you recognize that you're a teacher in nature, at natural, that it's going to help you to broaden your horizons with what you're to offer. Your clairaudience is also opening because they're using my clairaudience right now. They said that you're writing a book, whether you know it or not. They said that they would like you to think about, if you were to teach a workshop, what would that workshop be? They said to keep seeing groups of people in your own house, own apartment, and teaching them. And they said to me, what's really important for you is teaching people how to heal themselves. That's an important level of your work, and that's important to you. I don't know if you like cooking, but they're showing me my kitchen behind me right now. They only show me what I need to see. And that's about creating space for others to come into. So the kitchen is a place, you could see my kitchen is pretty open. My space is very open. So when I have people over, they it's a very good, entertaining type of space. And I feel like you're going to create community for people to come in and feel welcomed and loved. So I feel like that's a big calling for you. So don't only focus on one-on-one clients. And if you don't know how you're going to do it, just lean into group work is what they're saying. Oh, I got the moon card with you, which is the first card I started out with, right? It's like one of my favorite cards. So 18, again, is that new beginnings into business, which leads to a 9, which is final endings and new cycles. So final endings, when 9 was never my favorite number, right? 9s used to freak me out as much as 5s used to freak me out because I was always like afraid of change or transition. Now I can embrace change and transition because I know that I'm going to something better and graduating to something better. So I feel like for you, wow, okay. So I feel like for you, the 18 is about new beginnings into your business and how you're going to even start thinking about it differently, especially around January or February. And they're showing me, let me see if I can show you this. See that right there? That to me is like this swirling energy of your wisdom that's coming out of you. It's like this truth that's coming out of you. You have male energy around you too. Father energy could be father's side of the family. I'm also now seeing a figure in the card, and it feels to me like ritual, but like you'll sometimes see those like funny masks on people from ritual things that they do in the woods. Like it feels to me like you need to, I got it. You know how like in Wiccan and stuff, they go into nature and they do elemental things, or shamans do, and they do things with nature, and it creates a sense of connection with source. I want you to just read about different ritualistic things that happen in nature and elements, and I want you to see how that plays out with the work that you're doing, and maybe creating something like that from where you're at in community. I don't know where you live, sweetie, but I have to say that to you. All right. So I've got to slow down. I'm going to take one more, and then I'm going to tell you how we're going to end this. I don't know what they're going to say, but they're going to drop it in. So unfortunately, I can only do one more reading. Okay. I am going to add one with Sue since she couldn't make today. I hope Sue's okay. Her cat's not feeling well. And we'll do it for Aussies, like a 4 p.m. time. But it probably won't be till the week after next. And then there's a Q&A call with me doing readings too. And I get a lot more done in those calls. Let's see where they want me to go. Caroline. This is for Caroline, and this is for Sharon as well. So I'm doing 2 readings. Sharon's question is interesting for me because she's wondering if what she's doing is working for her highest good. I'm working on my joy, wondering if what I'm doing is working for my highest good. I find that question interesting from a teacher perspective because the clarity that I hope that you gain in membership is to not have that kind of question. It's okay that you do. You're here, right? Please know that I'm never like saying, how dare you have that question? I'm trying to give you other ways to reframe or think or be with yourself in these questions. That's what I'm trying to do. It's like I said to my coach yesterday, my new coach, I had epiphanies, and I don't need him to hold my hand. I need him to help me. I can't wait till I talk to him again. But I knew I was going to have a breakdown after the call. He kind of knew it too. And he was trying to help me a bit. And I was like, we're done. We did our 2 hours. I need to go do my thing. So that's what my goal is for all of you. And then when I go back to him, I'll go with more clarity and be able to use his expertise. So Sharon and Caroline, I feel like at the truest point what your joy is. I feel like you struggle with what should be your joy. Now, Caroline, I know you had a different question about business. Is my challenge not sure how to move forward or if I'm in the right business? I can tell you this, okay, and then I'm going to go into reading for the both of you, and it's going to be interesting how I do this because I never did it with two. I know that it's a soul grouping, but I've never did two people at once like this unless they came in together in a group. They're showing me my tree outside, one of my trees, one of my bushes, and they're showing me my bougainvillea, right? And they're showing me how beautiful the flowers are growing on the bougainvillea vine. But sometimes the vine is thorny and prickly and it hurts. And I feel like for both of you, you're on the right path. It's just you're going through these moments of stretching. And the reason why is because there's some things that used to bring you joy that are not bringing you joy anymore. And they may be tapping out your energy. Now, I also feel like both of you are not taking enough time to take a break, to breathe, to pull back. And they're asking that you do that a bit too. But they're also telling me that you're on the right path. The only thing is your foot goes off the path when you question when you're on the right path. So Spirit's saying to me, they both know what they need to do. And I feel like with Sharon, there are things that you thought were your joy or should be your joy that are no longer your joy. And this to me feels like demands around the family or demands around, I've got to I don't feel like this is the exact thing, but I should be really joyful about babysitting my grandson, but it's really exhausting. I don't want to do it. Like it's that kind of thing for me with you. And then with Caroline, it feels to me like there's certain aspects of your work that you really have to look at. Again, I don't feel like you're supposed to be pulled off the cart or pulled off the road, but I do feel like there's certain aspects of it that have to be re-looked at so that you can find re-inspiration. For you also, Caroline, I feel like there might be a book in you or something you want to create in that way. So let's see what the card says. It's 4 of fire. And I believe fire is wands, which is creativity. And it doesn't matter if I'm wrong or not. 4 is about foundation for me. And you can see the red colors and all the colors in there, right? Which is beautiful. Now, I know the wands cards very well in the Rider-Waite deck. I'm not really sure I can think of the 4 of wands right now, but they're showing me another wands card. And I feel like you do battle. And wherever you're feeling like you do battle, we've got to release battle. Don't we all do that? Like I have a situation that my guides are telling me to let go of. And I'm afraid to let go of it because of the people that are in that group, their positioning and their power and what I think they have. And Spirit's like, you don't need this. You don't need how they're treating you. You don't need this, right? So even I struggle with this. So I do battle with myself. Are you sure? Are you sure? Now I know they're right. But they also know that I have to go through a process before I finally sit in the empowerment of releasing, right? So I feel like you're both doing a little bit of battle that you don't need to be battling. So lay down the battle sticks. Just be. Like I know right now the answer is going to come to me. I don't need to fight it. What Spirit said to me the other day was, don't you see that you keep yourself distracted by worrying about what you need to do about this? And then they remind me of all the groups they've asked me to walk away from that I've been like, should I? And when I've walked away, I never thought twice about it. I'm like, oh, thank goodness I left that group. So it's the same thing here. So I know that this might be a little bit confusing, but what I'm going to ask you is what in your life, in your business, Caroline, and Sharon with your joy, what do you feel like you're doing battle with? And put down the battling. Let it go. Now, the card itself says structure, strong foundation formed, celebrating life, partnership, harmony, community, home, and marriage. Structure, strong foundation, thank you. Celebrating life, partnership, harmony, community, home, and marriage. For me, one of the best tools that my guides give me is how do I want to feel? How do I want to feel 6 months from now? How do I want to feel 8 months from now? How do I want to feel 2 weeks from now? How do I want to feel? And for me right now, what I want to feel, I need a little rest, but what I want to feel always is connected, right? Is peace, is joy, is bliss. And I know what brings that into my life. And when I don't do those things, then I get a little off kilter. So I have to bring them back, right? So that's where I want you to get into. When you don't know physically what you have to remove out of your life, get into what you want to feel in your life. And that'll change. Okay, so now this is going to be for you guys, all of you who didn't get answers. Close your eyes. Think about that question that you had that didn't get answered, or maybe it did get answered by some of what I said, but you're still needing further clarity on it. Hold that question in the palm of your hand. It might be like your left hand is resting in your right. It might be just one palm. Just hold that question close in your hands right now. For me, my left is resting in my right hand, so I'm holding that question. And then take that question and put it into your heart by putting your palms, resting them onto your heart. Now I'm going to ask you a question. And I want you to go with the first thing you get. Don't want you to second guess it. You have to go with the first thing you get. And I want you to, whether you hear it, see it, feel it, know it, or sense it, go with it, right? And if you're not getting any of that, you're like, I don't know, then come up with what your favorite thing is in this particular question that I'm going to ask. Just come up with whatever you want to come up with. And just think of one. Just answer it, because I'm going to give you a very specific question. It's right. Now, for those of you who do see it or hear it or feel it or sense it or know it, pay attention to how you're getting it. Because that's what you're going to learn is what's clairvoyancy, what's clairaudience, what's clairsentience, what's claircognizance, certain things I haven't taught yet to the whole group. But it doesn't matter. So it just allows you to know the vibration behind it. Okay, hold that question in your heart. Now remember, you have to answer with the first thing that comes to you. Pick a number from 0 to 22. 0 to 22. Now, before I tell you what this means, some of you may already know, sit with that number in your heart and ask that number what it wants you to know about the question. And allow your imagination to run. How do you feel about this number? If this number had a voice and it started singing something to you, what would it sing to you? What does it want to say to you? And if this number was a color, what color would it be? Is this number vibrating? What does that color mean to you? And you may just be saying, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Well, go to memories. Mine right now is showing me a circle of fire. And that just reminds me of, it's just feeling beautiful. And it reminds me of, I don't really like circuses, so I can't say it's reminding me of a circus, but it's jumping through hoops, that you can jump through hoops. You can make anything happen. Anything can happen that you want. And it's got the yellow and red tinge of fire. And yellow to me is trusting my intuition. And red is knowing I'm always safe. I'm always taken care of. And then Number sang a song to me that I never heard before. I don't even know if it's a song, you know? Just lean into it. All right, you can open your eyes. So what I just asked you was a number that represents a major arcana card. What are major arcana cards? So in the Rider-Waite deck, there are 22 major arcana cards. Now here's the thing. Number 22 and number 0 is the Fool. Some people see the Fool as 0. Some people see number 22 as the Fool. So it just works with numbers and what they do. So I use the Rider-Waite deck. I don't care what deck you go to. Just going to pull it up a second. But if you go onto Google and you Google that number, the major arcana cards, and say you got number 0, it will tell you what that card is, okay? And you want to go and read about that card and see how that card really spoke to you. See how it's answering your question or giving you steps or telling you where to go and what to do. When you put in 22, it may not come up, but I know 22 is the Fool. So I'm just letting you know that. So just go in there, do a little research, and then post separately telling us what you learned. So what the beauty of this is, is it's allowing you to read for yourself, right? So what we did was first read the number, and hopefully it communicated to you and you noticed how you saw it, felt it, hear it. And then you are going to more information. And you want to go somewhere where it resonates with you. And if you have Sue's deck, go to Sue's deck and read what it says, because Sue's deck has a book, right? So, I'm sorry. It's like here, it's over here. Sue's deck has a book. Can you see it? I mean, aren't you all psychic? Can't you see where I'm holding? There you go. So anyway, all right, guys. So thank you very much for allowing me to play with you in this space. Thank you for being patient with us a little bit as we're like, working through some of the kinks. I was glad Laura shared with you what's going on in her life. And Laura does an amazing job for me, unbelievable, and has kids. That webinar picture is how she did the webinar with me, and she did a great job hosting it. So share with everybody else, and just know that if your question didn't get answered, pull from other people's answers. Do this particular exercise, and just know too to just pay attention to what's going on through your day and asking yourself, oh, I just saw this, a bird, or somebody just said this, or I need to go listen to this podcast that Marilyn said to listen to. It's going to answer my question. Just follow the clues. Little investigator, following the clues. All right, guys, much love to you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.